I was unaware that they weren't certified. This father and son on Father's Day, paid $500,000 to go down in this thing. Holy crap. It's just tragic, and it's horrific, and it's unnecessary. There are acoustic networks around. Some are research, some are intelligence. We got confirmation within an hour that there had been a loud bang at the same time that that comms were lost. A loud bang on the hydrophones, loss of transducer or transponder, loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody I know. I said, we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. I sent that out Monday morning. We may go into hazardous environments like hydrothermal vents, or even to a wreck like Titanic or Bismarck or some of the other wreck sites, which are dangerous from an entanglement standpoint or a structural collapse standpoint. But you never worry about the vehicle, the platform that you're in, and you certainly don't worry about implosion. There's never been an implosion. I never believed in that technology of wound carbon fiber, wound filament, cylindrical hull. I thought it was a horrible idea. I wish I'd spoken up, but I assumed somebody was smarter than me, because I'd never experimented with that technology, but it just sounded bad on its face because we make pressure hulls out of contiguous material, steel, titanium, ceramic, acrylic. And so you can model it. You can do finite element analysis of it. And, you understand the yield properties. You understand the number of cycles that it can take. But you can't do that with a composite material because it's two dissimilar materials, sort of blended together. And so we all knew that the danger was delamination and progressive failure over time with microscopic water ingress and fatigue, what they call cycling fatigue. And we knew that if the sub passed its pressure test, it wasn't going to fail on the first dive. It might fail on dive 7, or I don't know what they're at, but it's going to fail over time, which is insidious. You don't get that with steel or with titanium.
What's up, blessed ones? You are now blaring the podcast. Brought to you by AB1 Studios. Thank you for your time. Listening. You want to know something else, blessed ones? I need to do a little bit better at researching before doing certain episodes, but I just want to say this because I had some misinformation. So for those of you who all been following the Ocean Gate Titanic expedition story about, a few people got on a small submarine, no windows, no ventilation. It had imploded. Now, what y'all heard in the beginning was James Cameron, the director who has been on quite a bit, dives to the Titanic wreckage. And he had said something very interesting, as far as the situation, because it's like sometimes when when you have experience you can oftentimes tell people more of the experience, because even people who have been on this excursion before are now having survivor's remorse. So my only thing is, I'm sitting here thinking that it was a guy and his son, and I'm thinking it's like one guy and, maybe his young son, but, his son is a billionaire. He was on with his son, who was 19, and 3 others. So it was 5 of them total. But they was going on a Titanic excursion. I'm guessing, to go on Titanic now. They had to pay, $500,000 to even do this at Ocean's Gate. But my only thing is, like, there's certain things that, to me personally, like, I wouldn't do, like, no matter how curious I am. Like, I'm going to believe the story because, again, like I say, sometimes, like James Cameron was talking about how, there's just certain things that, you just can kind of tell that just isn't right, because now disregard that there are people who had survived. It's like, I'll give you an example, right? Like, I'm going to jump out of a plane. I'm going to go skydiving, and I've been on there multiple times. I've done it multiple times. I've never been skydiving, but I want to do it. But I do it multiple times. Now, all it takes is one tragedy to kind of ruin everything. Just like it will take one extravaganza that's successful for, it's like there's a gauge there. I want to really express my deepest condolences to the families that have lost because this, like, I can't swim, and even just hearing about this story and, like, just the fact that, it's like, it's kind of like the whole Kobe thing. Like, you go on a ride, you with your daughter and a few others, like, on your way to a game, and then unexpectedly. And of course, it might sound like cliche. It's like nobody expects to, be taking their last breath when they're about to do something that you're going to enjoy. But, accidents happen, but then there's certain things that can be avoided. I think we all have to vet, people, and really, we can't live in fear, but we also have to remember, like, when other people are involved, we got to take extra precautions. Not to say that this wasn't, but it's just kind of like, how does something like this happen? Like, it's almost like the water, we think we know how. It's like the water is created by God, right? God, who has unlimited power, and we can even fathom how deep the water really is. There can be explorers who say they've been gone to the bottom of the bottom. But it's like, have y'all, like, where, like, the bottom of the sea? Is there even creatures at the very bottom of the sea? Maybe the sea only consists of a certain amount of kilometers and feet or whatnot, and then after that it's just like a bottomless pit. It's just kind of like space. I mean, I'm sure there's people that's been in space, but it's like, how, like, where's the real boundary? And, another thing, and this is something mainly what I wanted to address, is we have to stop giving the Simpsons credit. Okay, because like life is really a movie. It's like life is really a movie because with this situation, the same thing. We have a Simpsons episode that predicted this and saying that it was a prediction. Now, mind you, who created the Simpsons? A person, right? So they didn't make a prediction. It was just imitated. Someone trying to reenact or relive it. Because again, Donald Trump running for president and winning. Like, it's not that difficult to realize. But my only thing is this, like, I want to share one of my biggest fears with y'all. This is really what this situation is really what influenced that. Me as a father, because here's the thing. One thing about me, I can't always control what comes to my mind. Certain things just come to mind because there's going to always be triggers. Like if I see a donut, it might trigger like, oh man, you know what, I'm going to get fat again or more fat because of what it can cause. Like there's triggers. Or like if I see a beautiful woman, it can trigger me in the sense of saying, oh man, that's my wife, something. Like there's always triggers because it's going to be something that's going to allow that causes me to think certain things. So sometimes I can't control it. Like I can maintain to not act on all those thoughts. But it's one of my biggest fears, if not greatest fear, is losing my son. So me having the thought of that, even with me saying, like, that's probably maybe why sometimes certain reactions that I have aren't as emotional as might be nonchalant, because it's like I almost envision it in my head already. Like in 2020, I was dealing with, panic attacks. And I've said this before, like I was like high blood pressure, panic attacks. I was at one point, I believe the doctor said that my blood pressure was so high that this was really like that. It was like stroke. Sometimes people can have strokes and not even realize it, which they call a mind stroke. But again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but I can see and feel certain things. We have certain intuition. We all have certain intuitions. So even with James Cameron, like when he talked about, hey, I would speak up, but I figured somebody knew more than me. And that's fair. That is fair. That is honest, that's fair, that's reasonable, that's valid, that's understanding. Because again, I can't imagine. I can't imagine going against my, I have followed my intuition, and I haven't followed intuition, but I can't imagine the pain if I don't at least give some of my insight to someone that I have an intuition about, and then losing them. So it's not even negative, because there's been times where I have expressed certain things to people. It's like, okay, I got a bad feeling about this. Don't do this. Now, like I said, I'm not right all the time, but again, it's like I've expressed certain things, and I would get yelled at. Why you being negative? Why you putting certain things? I'm gonna keep it real. I'm a man of faith, a man of God. I say this all the time. If you know, you know. But there are times where you don't have to put anything in the universe. Like, you don't have to put everything in the universe when it's already there, because somebody else might be putting it in the universe, and it just seems to connect with you. Like, I don't put, I'ma get hit by a car in the universe. I don't sit here and put, somebody's gonna kill me in the universe, because I can speak, like, I speak about it all the time. One day I'm gonna be a billionaire Blair. I have yet to even seen an inch of six figures, but I see it in my future. I believe in miracles, but I'm gonna still work. But the moral of the story is this: like, sometimes, despite our expertise, despite our experience, things will happen beyond our control. Now, if there was a way that we can save lives of others without kind of removing the action of it, because again, we have to live our life. Like, if there was a way to where I can have a bull bag without thinking about the causes that can come, like, I can eat without choking. If I can do these things without like these things ever happening, because again, things happen. But just because I've got a intuition or say, like, this is like, hey, don't do this, or I shouldn't do this, it's like, okay, I don't want to knock it. But I go back and forth all the time when it comes to certain things, especially when it regards to my son. My son has ADHD and autism, and I don't want to say that for another time, because I have expressed this before on the episodes. But I do want to acknowledge the fact of this tragedy that the submersible have imploded going on an excursion to the Titanic. I see the infatuation. I see the interest. But it's like, this is a prime example of everything not being for everybody. But, as always, y'all stay safe. Stay positive, productive, and prosperous. Because no matter what, life goes on. We just have to take the time to remember those that we lost. But we still have to live. This is Blair.